World domination. The same old dream. Our asylums are full of people who think they're Napoleon or God.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Roll Screen Team. I'm Andrew Thomas. I'm back with my partner in crime, Christopher Johnson.
Hello, everyone.
We're continuing with our first James Bond Bondathon movie with Dr. No. So, Chris, you want to go into the overview, or?
Well, sure. Dr. No is a 1962 spy film based on the 1958 novel of the same name, written by Ian Fleming. The film was produced by Barry Saltzman and Albert R. Broccoli and directed by Terrence Young. The film was adapted by Richard Maibaum, Johanna Harwood, and Berkeley Mather. The film stars Sean Connery, Ursula Andress, Joseph Wiseman, and Jack Lord.
You want to talk about the plot?
Well, sure. James Bond is sent to Jamaica to investigate the disappearance of fellow British agent John Strangways. The trail leads him to the underground lair of Dr. No, who's plotting to disrupt an early American space launch from Cape Canaveral with a radio beam weapon. Now, what did you think of the film?
I thought it was interesting to have some early installment weirdness with stuff that, like the main theme, who was just a Jamaican song.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that there's a lack of the main theme. You know, that's always weird to me when always watching this film. But it's a very good introduction to the whole James Bond, mythos aesthetic. I think it's a very good bare bones type of introduction to the whole world of James Bond. I mean, what do you think overall?
I thought it was a good movie. Pretty much. There were still some weird explanations that I still need to explain, like why kill the bison and take them, and where did they go?
Yeah, the three blind mice, the assassins for Dr. No. Yeah, why are you shooting the people and then taking their bodies? I mean, I guess in some ways it's to not incriminate you, but in another way, people are still going to be trying to find them, so yeah, it's weird. But why don't we start going into the cast?
Yeah.
And of course, we have to go with the man himself, Sean Connery as James Bond. Already in the first movie, this man proves how perfect he is as James Bond. I mean, he seems so debonair, so suave, so sophisticated, but yet at the same time, he's a badass. You know, I always love that look when he's in the airport, when he shows up and realizes, oh, they did not send a driver for him. That's an agent working for Dr. No. And him finding that out and him on the phone just looking like, I'm going to have some fun with this. I'm really going to have some fun with this.
Yep, just like he did with one of the secret agent women.
Yeah, one of the various things about Bond, him charming and using said charm to try to switch potential enemies into becoming allies. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But also, one thing I really need to point out with Connery is he brought humor to Bond. You know, there's an air of, lightheartedness, a bit of dry humor to go along with everything to kind of, make things a bit more level. Things aren't too serious or way too dire. He brings a bit of, a bit of humor to it that gives you kind of a, I see what you did there. What did you think of Sean Connery?
I thought he did really good. Especially from his first scene where he meets his recurring girlfriend.
That opening scene will never be matched. That will always be perfect. And, with you bringing up Sylvia Trench, she was great as well. One of the things that I think that they really messed up in some cases, they should have kept Eunice Grayson on for more films.
Yeah.
I actually like the kind of rapport she and Bond have. And initially that was supposed to be the idea that she was supposed to be in all the Bond films until she was the main Bond girl. But what you gonna do?
Yeah.
Now, with talking about Bond, of course you have to talk about Bond girls. And our first Bond girl, Ursula Andress as Honey Ryder. One of the best Bond girls ever. Definitely in your top 10. I'd probably say close to top 5. What did you think of Honey?
I felt like she just came out of nowhere midway through the movie, being that we were still introduced to his actual girlfriend, then we got introduced to the agent that he got arrested, and then all of a sudden we get introduced to this girl for the last half of the movie.
Well, remember, you need at least 3 Bond girls in every film.
Yeah, she's not even an agent or anything. She just shows up and happens to be in the middle of the agent.
Innocent bystander. But, she does have info on Dr. No. She holds importance to it because she's a person Dr. No is wronged. So...
But we never get really into that. Nothing really personal on the confrontation with...
Yeah. She never really confronts Dr. No about the fact that he killed her father. I would have thought she... okay, it's the 1960s, and, things hadn't occurred as far as equality yet, but I would have thought she'd say something. But I thought Honey was... Of course, she's...
Yeah, she is...
Yes, she's very nice on the eyes. And I really do like her rapport with James Bond. The only issue is she doesn't do anything important.
Yeah.
Other than give some backstory about Dr. No and how dangerous he is, she doesn't do anything else important.
No.
Something that they would definitely fix with later Bond films as far as the main Bond girl and her importance. And one additional note, this, with Ursula Andress, this is the start of a thing that is very recurring. Her dialogue was dubbed. Yeah, her dialogue was dubbed by Nikki Vandersill. They tended to do this a lot with various actors that didn't have the best grasp on the English language, or they had too thick of an accent, so people could possibly not understand what they're saying. I think Nikki Vandersill did a good job, with doing the dubbing. Though, with talking about Bond, the Bond girls, we have to talk about the other most important thing, the Bond villain. Joseph Wiseman as Dr. Julius No. What did you think about Dr. No?
He was good. He just wasn't really that interesting all that much.
I would kind of disagree. I mean, I think Dr. No is the first villain. He's a good pick. And the fact that he's half European and half Asian, never accepted in both. So that's why he has gone and joined this evil villain organization known as Spectre. Special Executive for Counterintelligence, Terrorism, Revenge, and Extortion. I think it makes sense. You know, I've been shunned by both, so therefore I must forge my own path and bring about vengeance.
By building a great underground hotel.
Yes, my God. Just all the sets on Crab Key, where his lair is just all the chef kisses. I mean, my God, his nice penthouse that's a hotel that, underwater fish tank, and it's really nice. If he wasn't a horrible villain planning on doing horrible terroristic things, that man could have a very good career at running hotels.
Yep. So, speaking of Bond's not go without his supporting help.
Yes. Jack Lord is Felix Leiter. And I guess we should also bring up John Kurtzmiller as Quarrel.
Yeah.
The guys that help out Bond during his big mission in Jamaica. Yeah. Felix Leiter, of course, being a U.S. agent that is always very recurring. Unfortunately, he always tends to have a different actor portraying him. But with this run, Jack Lord did a very good job. He had a very cool air to him.
Yeah, but at the beginning, you wasn't sure if he was ally or foe, because it was in the shadow up until the fight with Quarrel. Yeah.
Where you find out that Quarrel is also working with Leiter, and, he's an ally. And I really like Quarrel. It's not often you see too many people of color in many films, especially this early, that are given a great deal of, respect. And you feel like Quarrel is a really cool, respectable guy. And plus, dude's also a bit of a badass himself. I mean, you remember the photographer girl that is getting pictures of Bond for Dr. No. Quarrel just goes ahead, puts her in an arm lock. They go ahead and interrogate her. She breaks a freaking light bulb, cuts him across the face, and he's just like, oh, that's cute. Hey, Bond, you want me to break her arm?
Sadly, he gets killed off. He doesn't get invited to the evil hotel on their lair.
Yeah, which is really messed up. But then again, he is the one guy wearing a bright red shirt. Oh my God, he was one of the first red shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good Lord.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then let's talk about the intelligence agency that Bond works for.
MI6.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, with talking about MI6, you got to bring up M and Miss Moneypenny.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Bernard Lee as M and Lois Maxwell as Miss Moneypenny.
Mm-hmm.
I love the kind of rapport
Mm-hmm.
Bond and Moneypenny have. You have this feeling that if things had turned out different, maybe they could be together.
Mm-hmm.
But she knows what Bond is like, so it can't really work out completely.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I mean, secret agent. I mean, do you really want to mix that in your special intelligence organization?
No.
I mean, what did you think about Moneypenny?
She was good. She was humorous. The short time that she's on screen,
Though we tend to see more of her in later films. What did you think of Bernard Lee as M?
He was good, just a little boring, at least for this movie.
Well, yeah, he's a bit more of that gruff, serious, head of the agency that is like, okay, Bond, you got to do this. Listen to my instructions. Don't try to go too rogue on it. Get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell that Connery's Bond respects him, but also he has that kind of, come on, M, you know who I am. You know I can get the job done. Don't smother me with your ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But I do respect you. I will listen.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, the one thing that is missing that I wish this film had, but it'll definitely be much more important later on, Q.
Yeah.
There's no Q in this film.
Yeah.
No major, gadget or anything.
Yeah.
That is one drawback.
Mm-hmm.
But seen as though it's the first Bond film, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though with this being one of the first Bond films, some of the action scenes, fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, from the first time we see Bond, fight that chauffeur.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, him having to kill the tarantula.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the action scenes were really good. I mean, when he fought Quarrel, when he thought he was an enemy, then turned out to be an ally.
Mm-hmm.
Though the one issue is when he finally has the climactic fight with Dr. No. Okay, they make this big deal about Dr. No over the fact that the man lost his real hands, and now he has these ridiculous iron claw-like hands. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't really get to do much in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and his greatest weapon are, I mean, you could have done more with that. I mean, grab him, firmly grasp him in your hands. We saw that you can freaking break bottles with these hands. Do something. And I won't give away too much.
Yeah.
As far as the climactic fight.
So, you want us to go over our scores, or do you have more to say?
I think we should go ahead and go with our scores.
Okay. I'm going with a 7 out of 10. It's a fine for the first James Bond movie. It's just not great to get an 8 or a 9 in my setting.
I give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's close to getting to that 8, but if there had been a better climactic fight, I think I could give it a bit more credit. I mean, this was a great film to introduce James Bond, MI6. We get the first ideas on what Spectre is. Great Bond girl, great allies. You know, and it's a really good adventure. But yeah, some of the real hallmarks about Bond aren't here yet. And that's why it's close to being great, but not there. It's still, I still say this is a very solid film. Very solid.
Yep. And if you don't like our opinion, you can check us out comment on our YouTube section. Find us on YouTube, The Real Screen Team. Find us on Facebook, The Real Screen Team. Like, comment, hopefully subscribe, since we're only at the 70-ish range at this moment of subscribers. And tell people about us also, and tell us what we could fix also.
Yeah. And of course, with us doing this big marathon, we want to know your thoughts about these films. And definitely do your best in trying to share our content and hopefully subscribe, because of course our big goal to reach by the end of the year is 100 subscribers.
You want to roll us out?
Well, sure. Thank you all for coming. Definitely come back again. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It definitely helps a long way. Thank you all. Let's fade to black.